I am reminded every single day of my life, if not by events, then by my wife, that I am not a perfect man. I will not be a perfect president. But here's what I can promise you. I will always tell you what I think. I will always tell you where I stand. I will be honest with you about the challenges we face, because many of them are hard and we're not going to solve them overnight, and there are going to be sacrifices involved. We are going to make sure that we are absolutely listening to each other even when we disagree. And most importantly, I want to make sure that we are opening up the doors of government to every single person in America, because that's how our democracy is supposed to function. It is a government of and by and for the people. It is your government. That ultimately is how change is going to happen. Change is going to happen because of you. That's how change has always happened. Change happens not from the top down, but from the bottom up. That's how we brought an end to slavery. That's how we brought an end to Jim Crow. That's how we won women the right to vote. That's how we started the environmental movement. That's how we brought an end to the Vietnam War. That's how we'll bring an end to the Iraq War. And in case you don't believe me about the power of one voice, you believe, I say they believe. I'm glad you believe. I'm glad you believe, because I am not just asking you to trust in my ability to lead this country. I'm also asking you to trust in yourselves. I am asking you to trust in your ability to bring about change. And if you don't trust in that ability, if you think, oh, you know what, I like Barack, but I can't really make a difference, I just want you to understand that that's what the status quo is counting on. That's what the powers in Washington are counting on. They are counting on you turning away and saying, I can't make a difference, that I don't know enough, I'm too ignorant, I am not important enough, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough education, I don't have enough clout. That's what they're counting on you saying. And one of the things that I hope you do when you leave this rally is get rid of that mindset that we can't do something. Because we can do something. We can do whatever it is that all of you decide has to happen. And so if you're still doubtful about your own voice, you heard some people saying fired up and ready to go, but not all of you know the story behind it. So let me tell you how we got that slogan. We were in South Carolina, one of the early states, and I was sitting next to a state representative at a legislative banquet, and I really wanted her endorsement. I said, State Representative, I want your endorsement. And she looked at me and she said, Obama, I will give you my endorsement if, but only if, you come to my hometown of Greenwood, South Carolina. So I must have had a glass of wine or something, because right off the bat I said, okay, I'm coming. Only to find out later that Greenwood is about an hour and a half from every place else. It's remote. So the next time we fly into South Carolina is about a month later. And I've been campaigning for a week or two straight. I mean, I am beat. We get into the airport about midnight, get to the hotel about 12:30. I'm going into my room, and suddenly I feel this tap on my shoulder. Senator? I said, yes. It's one of my staff people. They say, you got to be in the car at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. I said, what? 6 a.m. I said, why? He said, because we've got to go to Greenwood like you promised. So the next morning I wake up, and I'm exhausted. I feel terrible. I drag myself out of bed, try to pull the curtains open to let some sunshine in, wake me up. It's a miserable day outside, pouring, and maybe they're not that excited to see me. But, you know, I'm running for president, and we've learned that every single vote counts. So I start shaking hands with everybody. How do you do? What do you do? What's going on in Greenwood? And suddenly, we hear this voice behind me shout out, "Fired up!" And everybody in the room from Greenwood, they all say, "Fired up," like this is the most normal thing in the world. And then we hear the same voice say, "Ready to go." And the other 20 people, they all say, "Ready to go." And I don't know what's going on, so I look behind me, and there's this little woman. She's maybe about 5'3". She's about 65 years old. She's got a church outfit on. She's got a big church hat, got glasses. She's smiling right at me. She points at me. She says, "Fired up." Turns out that this woman is a city council woman from Greenwood who is famous for her chant, who is called, in fact, the chant lady. She's been doing this for years now. She's very proud of this chant. And so for the next 5 minutes, she just keeps on chanting. Fired up, ready to go, ready to go. And I don't know what to do because I'm figuring I'm the presidential candidate. I thought I'd be the center of attention in Greenwood. So I'm just standing there waiting for it to kind of wane, and my staff's looking at me. They're shrugging their shoulders. But here's the thing, Boston. After about a minute or so, I'm feeling kind of fired up. I'm feeling like I'm ready to go. So every time, so I just joined in the chant for the rest of the day. Even after we left Greenwood, I was feeling kind of good. Every time I saw my staff, I said, "You fired up?" They said, "I'm fired up, boss. You ready to go?" I said, "I'm ready to go." So it goes to show you how one voice can change a room. And if one voice can change a room, then it can change a city. And if it can change a city, then it can change a state. And if it can change a state, then it can change a nation. And if it can change a nation, then it can change the world. Your voice can change the world.